I'm Rob. I'm Alex.
I'm Kara.
Alright, so when did you guys first fall in love with music?
I feel like it's a different time for everyone in the band. For me, it was probably around like 5 years old. Probably my parents are immigrants from Europe. We came from Poland to Canada in like the early 90s. So they introduced me to a lot of like, honestly, like British invasion music and just a lot of like great pop writing. Like ELO, obviously the Beatles, Coldplay, Oasis, the whole thing. So, yeah, that was like probably the first time just being exposed to like melodies, like harmonies, just melodic, like while we're doing because it's like 4 or 5 years old.
That's so
I also kind of had a similar upbringing with music. Very much inspired by my parents and whatnot. My dad showed me a lot of like like Led Zeppelin, British Invasion. My mom and my grandmother are obsessed with the Beatles, so I was very well versed in all Beatles culture. The Stones. I had a huge The Who phase. So just a lot of that growing up.
How did your guys' like love for music lead to you meeting each other and decide to like actually make a band?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fate in a way. Like, me and Alex went to high school together, and then Kara and Mickey was formerly in the band, went to high school together, and we got like double booked at a studio very randomly last minute. So we literally showed up to a studio booking, and like we were in the library, Kara and Mickey were in the tracking room, and we just like basically just like shared each other's music, had like really good conversations. It was kind of like meeting the one on like a first date. You're just like, you
Yeah.
like imagine your whole life together, like at the first date. So yeah, it kind of just felt like that. That was like just after high school, going into college.
How would you describe each other?
I'll just put a blanket term for the both of them and myself, I guess, but very quirky. Very quirky.
We all,
I mean, look, everybody's got quirks.
you name it, we got it.
I think artists are extra quirky, but
We're a quirky bunch, but
Yeah.
high energy, chaotic, quirky,
loving,
passionate.
Okay, I love that. That was really wholesome. Not that I wasn't expecting it not.
What did you expect?
No.
bunch of tossers.
Yeah. It's like this is where the band falls. No. You guys talk about in like a few interviews that you would describe Valley as like a person itself rather than like a thing or an object. So how like if you would describe Valley as a person, would you also describe Valley as quirky and passionate, or how would you describe it?
I think still very much so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree.
I think Valley is obviously like a culmination of all of our personalities and interests and
That's kind of
loves.
what makes a band unique and fun. It's like Luce is like a solo artist, right? Even a duo. I guess a duo is kind of a band too, but there's something with bringing people together and it forms like one language, or it's the whole like 1 + 1 = 3 thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Bands are just like an identity of person.
So with your guys' latest album, you were like talking about like three from different stages of it, and I'm sure you talked a lot about it. But is there like one song or one aspect of it that you haven't really spoken a lot about that you're like, I want somebody to ask us about this so we can go on about it?
Maybe Papa. We don't talk a lot about that song.
Okay.
But that song is very much about like dependency, and when we were making the album, we were doing a bunch of different things. We had a band member leave. We were going through relationship issues, personal relationship issues, family issues, and all that. And I think that song is really important because it talks about the idea of like dependency and the idea that one thing breathes into the other, but sometimes they just can't coexist, but they always will, no matter what. It's kind of the idea that a bird won't always remember the same branch it lands on, but it'll still land on the branch, kind of thing.
On the note, it's also a very like unconscious song. Like it came out of kind of nowhere. Like it's not one of the songs that like you sit down and you try to write. It just kind of falls out of the sky.
Do you guys like to have like more like? Do you feel like what happens naturally is more so the unconscious songs or like the conscious songs?
I mean, I think they both come
Every
naturally.
album has.
Yeah.
There's songs where you have to like sit down and it's like we have to get the second verse, guys.
Yeah.
We have to engineer how to like put words to the feeling. And then yeah, there's songs like Bubba where it's like we didn't ever write down the lyrics. There was no Google Doc. It just
Came in
kind of
60
just, like,
minutes.
Really?
They came in
Like an hour.
Like we were at the end of a very long day working on 2 other songs.
I kind of went nowhere.
Well, one of them.
I guess one of them.
But it was like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And the idea just came, and we ran with it.
What was it like putting all of that like onto paper and like, putting your heart on your sleeve? Like, did you want to do that? Yeah.
It's like it's not even like a want. It's just like I think we needed to do it because we hit a point both personally and in our career where it's like if we're gonna keep going. It has to be restructured of how we talk about our feelings and how and putting ourselves more into the music because we came off a really tough year of touring and a tough year of just like not really putting our most authentic and like artistic selves out there because we were just like feeding an audience that didn't know what they wanted. And sometimes that's one thing that we talked about a lot about the album is you kind of have to kick everyone out of the crowd. And I think for a long time since our first album we were making music with our audience in the room and like we just learned it's like, oh, the best artists, like, it's not that you don't care about the audience, like, obviously you're making music for someone to receive it, but you can't think about who's receiving it when you're making it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a huge problem, honestly, is making art these days. Like, a lot of people invite their audience into the studio. It's like, but then you're performing. It's like performing comes later, and you're like, you have the honesty, and then you project it. But you can't do it when they're in the room when you're making it. Because you're always in the back of your head going to be like, well, how is a fan going to perceive this lyric? And it's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's like, how are you going to perceive it?
If you distill the creation process so much, you're going to end up with something that's not really.
It's going to be distilled. It's going to be like very, very lightly flavored water. Where you can kind of taste. It's kind of like drinking sparkling.
Like the koi.
Where you're like, I kind of taste it, but I can't.
You're like, no, I just want the juice.
Yeah. Was there any song in particular, or maybe like lyric or verse, anything like that you're like, this is so special to you, and you're like, that's so for you that you would think the audience is so
You'd say they're all so special. I think it's the title track. Love that. Title track we really, really love.
Which is
Flowers Pop My Garden. Like, it's like, yeah, I think those lyrics we worked on for a long time to get right, and I think we really said like we need to sing that song, and it really created like a really nice gateway into the album, and it really touches on like the whole concept, which is blind optimism, crying as much as you're laughing about your problems. It's about taking in the pests with the flowers. It's growing out your garden. It's growing out something in your life that's has both things that could eat up the beauty and grow over it. It's just about embracing those.
How would you guys describe your gardens right now? Like, if you look at your life as gardens, whether individually or as like a band, how would you describe your garden looks like right now? Is it blooming?
I think always blooming, ever growing, but there's like rainy days and there's mud and there's grossness, but like you need that to know what beauty like feels like as well. So I think ever growing and ever blooming right now, and just figuring out where to plant more seeds. I think right now we're also kind of in all aspects of our career just being like, okay, where are we going to next? Are we planting an orchard? Are we doing like it's just we're kind of figuring out where do we want to see trees grow in the next 10, 20 years?
Well, I think there's obviously, things to tend to in the gardens. And I think that's just life in general. You're always, cutting out the weeds and everything. So I feel like that's just an ever growing thing.
Yeah, I'm just honest. My garden is essential to life. It's all I can't see it. All 2024. Yeah, we get the weeds out.
Step back.
And now it's good. So much things are
Kara's climbing the tree.
Time to let it bloom.
She's swinging from a branch.
Yeah, I'd fix some ads. Then right.
Some poison berries.
Yeah.
But
Don't
yeah,
need the
good times, you know.
Obviously, it's been not like a while, but it's been some time since you guys, of course, created the album, released it, and now you're performing it on tour. How has your relationship changed to the album?
So
If it has.
I don't know if it has fully, I think we love it just as much. I've never had a day where I'm like, I hate our outfit, which I've never had ever, but there's been times with past work, I don't I don't know if that's me anymore. But this album so far, I've never, even if I hear it in public or in passing, I've never been turn that off.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. It's just oh no, turn it up. I'm so proud of this.
I think it's
Just amazing. Just the love that you felt. So many people are just discovering it even now. We get messages all the time. I just discovered your album. Where I've been my whole life, and it's so cool to see its lifespan just expanding. That's the cool thing about albums that you really love. It's their life expectancy is infinite.
we're coming up on a year.
Really that's up here. It's just do. But it doesn't matter what happens this website because we tried our best. In the studio we poured our heart into all this one. I just have to let it be. I don't really listen to it anymore. It's just playing the songs by for noise 60 sometimes I'll listen to it just once every couple months on it's really good. Really proud of it. But yeah, it's detachment that would be my relationship with
I think that happens with most records too, because we hear it every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's working on a piece of content that features the music or
You become blind to its facts.
yeah. But then there's the moments where you intentionally sit down and re-listen, which, like Kara said, we'll do it every once in a while, and it's really refreshing by the end, and you're like, wow, it's a different experience listening to it in that sense versus just casually hearing it in the background of the video that you're putting out.
How have you felt when you guys just landed? But how are you feeling about tour? How's everything been going?
This is the tour we've looked forward to our whole lives. We love touring everywhere. We've done, pretty extensive touring in Asia, obviously in North America for years. But there's something different about going to a place for the first time. Everything feels, so it's even we landed last night and just walked around and we're filming and just doing stuff because everything is just so pretty and I think we're also just very obsessed with Europe in general and the UK because we grew up very much looking over the pond for everything. We'd be very we loved a lot of British music growing up and British fashion and it's always the grass is always greener. When you grow up in North America, you're always looking over here. And just going oh man, there's so much coming out of here that we're inspired by. So yeah, we're just excited. It's such an honor to play these rooms and the fact that more shows are selling out than not is insane.
And I'm happy that it's this album that we're doing concert. Also, I think this not to keep this going, but I think that we're doing so many firsts this year, and I think it's just really special that it's happening on this record because
It's meant to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Are there any other firsts that you can share or want to share that you've experienced?
We had our first proper pub crawl yesterday in the sense of we do pub crawls in Canada, but it's different because you show up to a pub and we don't have as walkable stairs in the sense where it's about walking pub to pub. But yeah, we did that yesterday and that was fun, just grabbing drinks and just conversing with people on the streets. Everyone was just fun and talkative and parties. And we've just been taking it all in.
Did you guys watch Nobody Wants This, or did you know that your song was going to be in it beforehand?
We knew.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I haven't watched the whole show. Kara's watched it. Do you like it?
Yeah.
I don't want to be honest, but I haven't watched it fully. I watched our episode and then I need to take some time.
I started to watch it, but they have a season 2 coming out too.
There's season 2 coming out, so
Very cool.
Casual Netflix promo.
yeah. But yeah, no, we knew going into it. but it still made it. The moment was still amazing.
That was kind of a first as well. Like first,
Yeah.
was, really big song in any
Yeah, I
show.
realized how big that show got. We were like, oh, we'll see what happens, and
Yeah.
then it ended up going like top 5
Yeah, everybody's talking
It
about
was the
it.
number one
and number 1. Yeah.
in a lot of countries. I don't know. I mean, I know with Canada, it was number one.
And maybe because of your song.
Could be. I don't know. I think it's just a great show. So, yeah.
That song almost didn't make the album.
Ooh.
Title track, it took forever. You're like, we did like 6 variations of the song, and then last day of the recording, we were like, we need to get this right, and we were recording it like live off, or like the main 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then after this, it survived. Yeah.
So what were there like any major differences between variations, or was it just kind of like tiny differences?
They were huge.
First variation was like literally 4-on-4 cake, just like no one. Like it went through some phases. Yeah. But they were all just like we were just trying to get it loose and like we were playing everything together. And then,
Because the song is 3 years old. It's almost 4, I guess now. Yeah, like we wrote that song. I think it was either a couple days before, or a couple days after we wrote this song, 1999, which we kind of had a bit of like a moment with. It was a big song for us at one point, but we kind of had to. We were presented with this path that we kind of had to go down and turn over every stone and kind of see that through with that song like going viral and whatnot. But Water the Flowers kind of was a song that we had in Dropbox for like three years, and we always went back to it. I think it was kind of sitting right in front of us the whole time, and I'm happy that we ended up going back to it.
What can you guys share of like new releases, maybe more shows, anything?
yeah, we're gonna wrap up this Europe tour in the UK and go home, work on some new music, but nothing like we're not itching to make an album because the album just came out. We've discovered from everyone that they're like, I'm just discovering this right now. So we're giving it a lot of room,
breathing room.
while we make the next thing. Because we're just not. We're always writing, but like I don't think we have anything to say yet.
Wow.
So it's like we're not really gonna put out music until like, okay, now we have something to say again.
A little bit of life first.
Live a little bit of life. And then we're gonna go tour Asia, which isn't announced, but like it's gonna happen. I think planning that whole thing. And then we're gonna hopefully come back to the UK and Europe. We want to do like a full UK tour.
You should.
That's the goal, because there's so many places to play here. And then just more music, more being a band.
Yeah.
It's all the things that it tells.
Right.
More touring, more music.
What's your go-to jump into it?
I'd like to say something fancy, but
It's probably McDonald's or something. Like,
I don't know. I mean, like, I do like a late night like shawarma or something.
Yeah.
Kebab.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a McDonald's guy, a Macca's guy.
We gotta bring back that chicken Big Mac.
Yeah. If it's very late night, I'm going for it. But we also have this place called A&W.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah.
And they do like Beyond burgers that are like a great, and they're open 24 hours, and they're great things. You get like a little onion ring and the olive very instant.
They're the highest end fast food that you can get in Canada. Like it's still fast food, but it's the best.
I don't have one, so I just have my food and vibration sounds with something good with something in terms of stonks this like I'm having it 10 days.
Kara's the intellectual.
I love that.
I love that.
That's a
I would have not thought of that.
yeah. So would you like to share your answer to that question?
Like this, personally, I don't have nothing because I just I
She spoke too soon.
yeah, and I just like I ask people like to like hear you.
Wait, say it again.
Like okay, I just had a birthday and I feel like I need to tell I've been reflecting. What's something I want to stop doing and I was here. I was going to start doing something continue. Okay, I did. Yeah, actually, yeah. I'll just a quick answer. I'll start teaching. Wow, just the teddy steak. It would be fine.
Iron Woman.
For damn. I want to stop because my mom likes to point that out and then I watch interviews back and stuff and it looks